Yeah, how's it going, everybody? This is Jose Trujillo, world's greatest living artist, coming to you here from the art studio. Look at this hair. Look at this hair. Looking good, huh? I'm looking good, baby. Yeah. So, guys, look, it matches. It matches. It matches. My sweater matches my shoes, too. I'm like wearing red. Well, it's not a sweater. It's just a long sleeve shirt. So, guys, today is Thursday. Is it Thursday today? I think so. It's supposed to be Thursday Cafesito. My wife was supposed to join us. She's getting ready. We're going to a Thanksgiving lunch, and then probably a Thanksgiving dinner. I don't know, maybe not, but it's definitely a lunch. And we're going to the movies probably. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go see Coco, that little Mexican kid fighting through the Day of the Dead stuff. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Hey, I'm a little Mexican kid. So, guys, today I wanted to talk to you about something slightly different than what I usually talk to you guys about. Today I wanted to talk to you about, well, what day is today, right? A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are like, man, I'm anti-Columbus. Whatever, whatever. Let's put that aside. Let's put that other stuff aside. All the, I mean, to each their own, right? Political correctness and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. Cool. What I want to say is, why don't we get some of that, right? Why don't we get some of that message, which is extremely important? Or the whole message, the whole pie, not just some of it, the whole pie. And pie, pumpkin pie. Why don't we get the whole pie and we appropriate it as artists, right? We use it as a reminder today of what are you thankful for, right? It's Thanksgiving, but this is the thing. We tend to do things once a year. Okay? We tend to do things once a year. One of the things that I've noticed in my life and in other people's lives and other artists and whatnot is that we tend to do things only one time. And I found out that if it's good enough once, this is not for me. This is something that my mentor taught me. If it's good enough once, if it's good enough to do it every day. For example, you eat once, right? You're like, this is really good. It nourishes my soul, my body, blah, blah, blah. Then you ought to do it every day. You drink water. This is very good. You ought to do it every day. You exercise. Those of you exercise, I should do it every day. You want to do it every day. Same thing with Thanksgiving, right? You give thanks for whatever in your life, everything in your life. Just the fact that I know it sounds cliche, but it can't go without saying, just the fact that you're alive, How many people's chances are over, right? How many people's chances are gone? How many people are going through very difficult illnesses, And maybe you're not, Maybe I'm not. Maybe you're not. And that gives you a chance to move forward and to do the things you want to do, right? The goals you're looking for, the things you want to accomplish. It's very important, I believe, to understand that giving things, it's not exterior. I know a lot of people think that it's exterior, like oh, I want to give things, and it's like this exterior thing, right? Like to God, to this, and I mean, I won't, to each their own, right? But like to the community, to this, to that. Really, what you're doing, you may not know this, but what you're doing is that you are nourishing your own soul. Like you're actually doing it to you. It just is expressed exterior. Kind of like when I create a painting, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go create a painting. It's an exterior thing, but really, I'm doing something. I'm giving myself something, even though it's exterior, like exercise, right? It looks exterior. It looks like you're running. It looks like you're pushing. It looks like you're lifting. It's exterior, but it's really for you. It's really for you. It's the same way when you give things. It looks exterior. One of my favorite books is uh, A New Earth or The Power of Now. Also, another great book by author Edgar Tolle. That's my son. Say what's up, dude. Yeah,
Bye.
yeah, bye, dude. uh, he talks about how in his books, right? He talks about how things it looks like an exterior thing. He touches on that, and for me, that's how I got it. Anyways, for example, if you yield, right, it looks like you're doing someone else a favor, but really you're allowing yourself. Hold on, dude. Hold on with the piano. You're allowing yourself some. You're giving yourself power. It's really what you're doing. When you kneel, right, it looks like you're surrendering. Or even when you surrender, it looks like you're surrendering to someone else, but you're not. You're surrendering. You are actually giving yourself power by surrendering to your own ego, right? So every time that you do something that looks exterior, it's really for you. It just looks that way. It's expressed exterior. So, anyways, enough with that. So what are you thankful for? Please, guys, anyone watching, one person, two people, what are you thankful for? What is it that you're thankful for today? You're thankful for your health, for the ability to create artwork. Many of us we get so caught up in the idea of, man, my artwork's not good enough. My stuff I'm not feeling it. The muse is not visiting me. I'm not inspired. How many people always talk about that? I made some quite a few videos on that, because people tend to go that route. I go that route every now and then. I'm like, man, I don't feel inspired, and I have to remind myself, right? But we get caught up in that, in the whole things are not working for me, and we forget how many things are actually working for us. How much is actually working for us? Like, for example, we can easily get caught up in things that are happening in the world, politics, social things that are happening, poverty, just everything, right? All the things that are happening in our world, we get caught up in that, and I think it's vital to participate. I think it's vital to understand, and I'm not saying not to participate in none of that, because some people say don't participate in that. I don't think it's fair. I think we all should be able to participate, especially in things that matter, civil things that matter to all of us, to every human being. Clean water, loss, equality for everyone, that kind of thing. I think that those are extremely important things, but we get caught up in those things. We tend to get caught up, and then we forget what is actually running in our favor. So we're like, man, things are not working for me. Things are the man is out to get me, or the government, or this or that, or people are not buying artwork right now, and then we get caught up in that kind of thing, and we forget, there are things that are working for me. Like, for example, I get to choose. I get to choose what I paint. Imagine how many people can't even choose that. Certain countries, people probably can't choose that. And I know it's cliche. Again, I'm not trying to say, oh, compare yourself to the lesser fortunate, so that way you can feel better about yourself. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, look at what you have, and then go from there, and then get and want more, and go get more. You should, because human beings are expansive, right? We're expansive. Our consciousness is expansive, and our expression is expansive. That's why so many things are happening today, right? People are like, well, back in my day, that didn't used to be like that. That was because we were not as expansive. Now we're more expansive. One of the things we don't do anymore is part of our expansion consciousness. We don't smoke in airplanes, right? That's expansive, at least here in the States. I don't know in other countries or other places, but we don't smoke in airplanes, right? So it's expansive, right? Our consciousness has expanded to another degree of awareness. We're like, oh shit, let's not kill everyone, that kind of thing. So with seatbelts are required, right? It's another expansive. It's a growth, and that kind of thing. So, anyways, I know I'm giving some very simple cliche examples. Those are the ones I can think of right now. I'm sure I got some very cool stuff in the back burner. Say hi, baby. This is supposed to be
Happy
Thursday.
Thanksgiving. I know it's supposed to be Thursday Cafesito, but we are headed off to our family's house. And so happy Thanksgiving. We wish you guys all the best. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed, happy, satisfying Thanksgiving.
Yeah. She's yeah, she can talk. Look at her. She can say some cool stuff. Anyways, so it's important to recognize what is important, what is truly important, right? What is truly important, I believe, is to first be aware of all the resources you have. All the resources. As a human being, as an artist, all of the resources. Health is a resource. The ability to live in a country where you can, I don't know what country you're in, but most for the most part, most countries today allow you to go in and get your share, right? However that looks, the dynamic of that, but it allows you to go get your share, right? So there is that. That's a resource. There's art stores. There's this. The ability that you have your eyes, right? It's not even an ability, but it's a blessing that you have your eyes, your hands, or at least the one hand that you need to create artwork. All of these things that's where we should start from, right? I'm not trying to sound cliche and trying to play the stupid card here of, oh, let's all be happy and hold hands. But then again, why not, right? What I'm saying is that nothing good will come out if it's not with gratitude first. And I'm taking this day that is about that, right? Regardless of the history, regardless of the ideas behind it and how people are talking about today about how, it's not politically correct or this is wrong or that or whatever. Okay, let's move all of that aside. Let's move it all aside and let's take the idea of giving thanks, right? Of being grateful, of gratitude, of maybe you belong to a church where they support you, right? They support you spiritually. They support you, your family. They support your ideas, your goals, or whatever. That's something to be grateful for. I don't belong to a church, but I'm sure some of you do. That's something to be grateful for, right? Your community, your family, and all these things, right? The idea is to get yourself out of the mental rut that happens to us a lot as artists, and we start going into this micro things that we start thinking about we start thinking about the things that are not working for us. So we start going into, we start peeling, we start doing something like this, right? Like this is our day, right? This is today, right? This is our potential. And we're like, oh, but I don't have the right color, oh, but blah, blah, blah. And then we start pigeonholing ourselves. I guess it's something that you start going smaller and smaller and smaller, and you lose the big picture. The big picture is that you have your arms, that you have your health, that you have paint, and if you don't have paint, go get it. That you have resources, right? Whatever it takes, you have resources to get your message across and to be able to create artwork. And maybe you don't paint. I don't know. Maybe you play guitar. Maybe you sing. Maybe you create poetry. You write. Whatever. There are endless resources in this world. There are endless resources for us to continue and thrive and do what we have to do. There's a lot of negative ideas out there that there is not. There's a lot of shortage ideas that no, it's harder for me because A, B, and C. And maybe I'm not discrediting the fact that some people have more challenges than others. What I'm trying to say is that use the things that you already have. Use the resources and use them as platforms to go higher. Because if you're not grateful, you will not take the next step, right? The step, I believe the next step in your life starts with gratitude. It always starts with gratitude. It starts from, okay, well, I'm here right now, and I'm going to use this to the max. And then boom, it propels you. And when you have this momentum, right? I am always talking about momentum. You're working, you're doing, you're constantly doing. You're not stuck up here. You're constantly doing, and you're grateful because otherwise you can't do, right? Even if you don't say, "Oh, I'm grateful for this," even if you don't verbalize it, you are intuitively grateful. That's why you move, because you're like you recognize, right? You realize where you are standing. You realize, oh, I got canvases, I got paint, I got this, I got a phone. I got a phone. Imagine how many people like this is I mean, think about the phone. It's years ago people couldn't even conceptualize this, right? They couldn't even. I mean, it's literally. I know. Again, this is another cliche thing, but it's literally rocket science, right? They say that a modern phone has more science than the rocket. I think in the '60s, right? Like, it's so much science that it's there available in our hands, and you're able to get your message across. Imagine opening a window. This is what we're doing here. Those of you who are watching me, you're watching me through a window that literally opens. And it's like it's so surreal.
We have a friend who once said, for people who don't believe in magic, just look at phones. Because it's literally powered by crystals that are mined out of the ground to make this battery that helps your phone work. And science is amazing and magical.
The value that you have simply by having a phone. A lot of people are like, man, I can't get my artwork out there. Bullshit. That's not true. Be grateful. You have a phone. Start getting your artwork. Start getting your message. Do what I'm doing. Talk to 3 people. Talk to 5 people. Talk to 100 if you can. Whatever. If you can't talk to 100, talk to 2 people. Whoever shows up. Whoever you can contact, right? And talk to them about your process. Talk to them. For example, I talk daily about my process. Every day at noon, Arizona time. I'm in U.S. and the U.S. Arizona. I talk about my process. I do a little art demo. I talk about different things I make time. I get out of myself, right? And all the lack mentality and all the ideas of lack. Of, man, the government, man, our social well-being, man, civil liberty, oh, man, because we artists, we care about that kind of stuff. And on and on and on. And, okay, well, let's get out of that and let's see the good things that are right now. And let's move from there, right? Because you can get lost very easily in, I want that. And then because you don't have that, right? I want this for our country. I want this for my family. I want this. I want that. It's in the wanting, right? And yes, you want that, but if you don't constantly operate from present moment, right? It's from gratitude, from what you already have, right? Because there was a time and a place where you were before, that where you are now was actually the dream. For example, I used to be. I've always painted, right? I painted since I was a little kid, but I've been painting professionally as a full-time artist for the past 6 years. This right now, what I'm living is the dream, right? Now, this is not my present dream, but this was the dream of my past. This was right now, what I'm doing right now. Man, this was the dream about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, it was like, man, if I could live from creating artwork, if I could live from talking to people about my artwork, I would, now I support my family with this, right? I'm really living the dream, but I fail to recognize it. And I fail to recognize it for 2 things. 1, because you always want more and you always want to expand, right? And 2, because you forget about where you are. I'm not saying that it's wrong to want more and to expand because that's how we're expansive, right? More, you want more, you not necessarily more in things, but you want more in expression, right? I don't just now want to create artwork for a few people. Now I want artwork for more people, right? Now I don't just want artwork in the local gallery. Now I want artwork in big badass museums, right? And on and on and on and on. So you always want to expand. That's the natural process of being a human being. we're expansive, right? We start out like this little thing, and then we grow as human, our bodies or whatever, and then we want to expand our consciousness, and then that gets whatever, right? It continues to happen. So our expansion, our consciousness is constantly expanding, and if we are not aware of right now, this wherever I'm standing used to be the goal a few years back, or maybe it wasn't the goal, maybe the consciousness, maybe not the physical state, but maybe the consciousness. But I'm sure it was the physical state. When you were 6 years old, you wanted to be 10. When you were 10, you wanted to be 20, and you were like, man, when I'm 20, I'm gonna do this, and that. Now you're 20, you're like, oh man, how come I'm not 30? Because if I was 30, we're always trying to like fight for time. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to remind you again, today, it's Thanksgiving. Find something that you're thankful for. Find 1, 2, 3, 4, find 10 things. Find 100, But if you can't, find one thing. If you don't have it in you right now, if you're, for any reason, you're in this place where you're like, F life, F my artwork, I don't like it, blah, blah. Find one thing that you're grateful for. Look at your phone. Be grateful for the phone. You're able to, it's a window of space and time. Come on, it's so freaking crazy that we're able to see each other and we're able to talk to each other. It's like we open a space and time in the eternal, right? I know it sounds stupid, but because we're like, oh, it's technology. No, we're just used to it. Imagine 100 years ago, we're just used to it. That's the difference. So I'll leave you guys with that. My name is Jose Trujillo. I'm the world's greatest living artist. I just happen to be that. So take care, guys. I will talk to you soon. I will talk to you again later tonight, probably, and remind you again to be thankful and have that attitude of gratitude. You can't move forward unless you have that. You have to find it, and if you don't have it, start doing something. Right? Start doing something that gets you in that place. Right? It's either your attitude or it's either your actions. Sometimes it's your actions. Sometimes your actions get you to that attitude, right? Because sometimes your attitude is like, yeah, but you don't do anything, and then it supports more of that bad attitude, right? But if you start doing something that moves you further up in your career, then your attitude gets higher, right? Your attitude is like, oh man, I really can do this. Watch, right? So it's both. It's not one or the other. You can't just sit there and be like, I'm going to be grateful. Do something too, right? To back that attitude up. So thank you so much, guys. RM says, right on, brother. Thanks. Thank you, guys. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Adios.